One of my favorite things to do is find jewelry boxes at thrift stores and give them a makeover. This one's in very good condition, but I think it would be super cute with a makeover. So the first thing we need to do is take off all this little hardware. We have little tiny screwdrivers to do that, and they come in different sizes. They come in a pack, so you always have some screwdrivers with flat end Phillips head to get the hardware off. Sometimes the hardware doesn't come off, but most times it does, and you want to take that off so you can give it a fresh look without painting on your hardware. Once all your hardware's off, make sure you put it in a safe place so you don't lose any of those little screws or any of the hardware. This is an important step because I can't tell you how many times I've lost something and then I had a hard time replacing it. Now that we got all the hardware off, we are ready to scuff sand the piece. We're going to give it a good scuff sand because you can see that it has like a shiny finish to it. That's a factory finish and we want the paint to be able to grip. So we're going to take a 250 sanding pad and we're going to scuff sand the entire piece. Once the scuff sanding is done, you're just going to take a damp rag and you're going to wipe the whole piece off just to get off any dust that'll interfere with your paint. Even though I scuff sanded this piece, I decided that I needed a primer for a bonding agent because it's still very shiny. So I want to make sure my paint sticks really, really well. Here I'm using Wise Owl. It's a primer that's a stain blocker and a primer all in one. So this would be great if I was painting this box white because it would protect from bleed through. Plus it gives you that adhesion property. We're going to prime the whole thing. We're going to give it at least one coat, usually two. Sometimes on the smaller pieces, I'll just give it one coat of primer really quickly. And then afterwards, we're going to sand that with the 250 grit really quickly so it has a nice, smooth, buttery finish. And then we'll be on to paint. Now that the priming's done, we're going to move on to paint. Today I'm using Dixie Belle's Silk All-in-One Mineral Paint in Deep Sea. It's a very, very dark navy blue. It almost looks black in some light and very blue in others. I'm using my Dixie Belle Mini. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the paint stirred up really well because paint does settle over time. So each time you use it, you want to take some kind of stick. I'm just using a popsicle stick and give it a good stir. We're going to get a little bit on our brush and we're just going to start to paint this jewelry box. See how beautiful that color is? Now with this paint, I can go back and forth this way and that way, but you always want to finish in the way that you want the paint to run. So whether you're running with a grain or you're just running in a specific direction, you always finish that way. After you get your first coat done, you're going to let it dry for at least 2 hours. 4 hours would be ideal, and sometimes I even leave it overnight. The silk has a little bit longer of a drying time, even though it feels dry on the top. It's drying from the top down, so I give it time, and then I recoat it one more time, just for that beautiful smooth finish. Then on the sides of the drawers, I want to have an accent of silk and Mojave. It's like a mustard color, and it's going to go well with the paper that I'm going to put on the front of the drawers that I'll show you very shortly. So the same thing, I'm going to go around, I prime the sides of the drawers, I'm going to paint them with Mojave, and I'm going to give them a second coat later on. Look how beautiful 2 coats of deep sea looks. But even though it looks totally beautiful like this, I have a paper that I want to put on the front of these drawers. It's a paper that it's a wrapping paper actually that came from England, and the pattern is by a designer from England, and it's called the Strawberry Leaf. I've been told that it's quite famous, and I just absolutely love it. I only have little pieces left of it, so this will be perfect. It's got these cute birds and strawberries and some blue flowers. But how beautiful will that look with deep sea? So I already pre-cut these because I didn't want you to have to look at me cutting all the pieces. It was quite easy. I just measured it out on those drawers, and I'm getting myself a little bit of clear coat, or you could use Mod Podge, but I'm just using Dixie Belle's clear coat, and this is a little decoupage tool that makes life easy. So you paint on your clear coat where your paper is going to go down, and since this is a smaller area, I'm going to coat the whole area and then put my paper down. If it was a bigger piece, I would start at one end and slowly move my sealer across the piece. But since it's small, I'm going to coat the whole thing, and then we're going to get our paper and our tool, and we're just going to smooth it out. Now that we have the paper on all the drawers, we're going to give this quite a few hours. Usually I leave it overnight again, and we're going to coat it one more time just to protect the paper. It will wrinkle up the second time you put clear coat on it, but you just leave it alone. It'll settle back down, and it'll look absolutely flawless. Now the last thing we need to do is put this jewelry box back together. So I am trying to find the holes here with the paper. It's a little difficult. Those holes are very, very small. So we're trying to line up our hardware and find out where that hole is to punch a hole through the paper so we can get our little tiny screw in there. even though that could have been the last step in this process, I decided that I wanted to give this finish a little bit of sheen. So I'm taking a furniture salve that's made by Wise Owl. This one happens to be tea tree mint, which is a nice fresh scent. And it just gives that navy blue that, even though there's a sealer in there already, you can see that it gets fingerprints on it. It gives the navy blue a coating of like a shiny finish that will protect against fingerprints. And you can see how beautiful it makes that finish. So I'm going to rub this over the whole box with an applicator pad, or just, I have a piece of cloth here, and we're just going to shine up all of that navy blue finish. As you can see how beautiful this is coming out, I can't wait to turn it around and show you the finished look. So you can find these at thrift stores and redo them, and they make perfect little treasures. You give them as gifts, put them in the Etsy shop, sell them, give them away, whatever. They make the perfect little gift. You can customize them for different people, and I appreciate you guys joining me here on Simply Made Unique by Jill's YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and press the little bell so you get notifications each time I have a video out. I'll talk to you guys again soon, and have a fabulous day.